Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, we're going to be doing a special business reading today, and our goal is going to be to learn how to present arguments. In other words, how to give your opinion about an important article in a business newspaper, talking about both advantages and disadvantages. So we're going to look at how you express your opinion, and of course, we're going to get your opinion on the topic that we'll be talking about. Today, the business topic is going to be all about strategies, business alliances in particular. Okay, so we're going to get that started right now. Let me just, I had a little technical problem, so I couldn't get the class started. So we're a little bit late, so we're going to jump right into our article in just a second. I'll get it on the screen for you, and I'll give you the direct link as well. There it is. Oh, it's opening now. And I'll put that I'll put that in the chat window for you. Give me a second. I'll put it in the Verbling chat and the inside chat. Okay, and then we will get started. And there you can see the article. Okay, let me say hello to everyone just quickly, and I apologize again. I had some trouble starting the Hangout, so I'm running a little bit late. My apologies, everyone. Let's say a quick hello first to Mr. Jolt. Long time no see, Jolt. How are you?
Hi, John. Hi, everyone. I'm good, thank you. How about you, John?
I could not possibly be better than I am now. And you know why, Jolt? Because you're here. and it's been so long. I was worried I'd never see you again.
I was proud.
Okay, and I've got a new face, I think. Mr. Francisco. Hello, Francisco. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, thank you.
Fantastic.
How are you?
Good, good. Where are you from, Francisco?
I'm from Spain. I live in Córdoba, the south of Spain.
Córdoba. Excellent.
Córdoba, yes.
How is the weather in Córdoba today?
Oh, very hot. Today is about 30 degrees.
Not bad. Not bad at all. It's strangely kind of cold here. I'm not that close to you. I'm in Portugal, but it's kind of cold. Yesterday, too. Strange. It's May. It feels like winter. Not winter, but not so nice. I'd rather be in Córdoba. Maybe later.
Yes.
Okay. So, nice to have you. And welcome back, Artemis, as well. Nice to see you again, Artemis. How are you?
Likewise, I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you.
From Thailand, yeah? It's Thailand?
No, from Indonesia.
Or Indonesia? Indonesia. Oh, jeez. I was
close.
Close.
Yes, close. Still in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. I didn't say Milwaukee, right? So I didn't say Milwaukee. I didn't say Dusseldorf. I was not so far off. Not so far off.
Yeah.
All right. And Mr. Jose, a class would not be complete without you. Mr. Jose, how are you?
Yes, fine. Thanks for asking. Long time I don't see you.
I know. It's been at least 8 minutes. Take a look at this, everyone. Now, as I said, our main goal here is really to work on talking about advantages and disadvantages. But we've got to have something to talk about. So what I'd like you to do is together, let's read through this article, which is about business strategies. Whoops. Let me put it. I just need to open this on my computer. Give me just a second. Let's read through this article. It's short enough that it'll probably take 15 minutes at the most. It's pretty short. It's taken from The Economist, so this is a real article. But what's interesting is it's something that probably affects all of us, so we can decide if we think that the advantages that the airline strategies claim are really advantages for people like us or not. We can discuss it. And I'll help you out with the language you can use to do that. All right? So, before we begin, I'm going to just ask you a few questions just to warm up. Okay? First of all, what factors are important when you're choosing an airline to fly with? Do any of you fly a lot?
Seems so.
Do you fly a lot, Artemis?
Yeah, at least more than 10.
10 what? 10 times a year?
No,
Or 10
since
times?
since I was born.
So, what's important when you choose an airline? Is it only price, or are there other things that go into your decision?
So yes, the first criteria would be the price. The second criteria is, I'm a Muslim, so I'm not allowed to eat anything. I mean, like, I cannot freely eat. So I have to pick an island that can serve me a halal food, like Turkish Island,
Uh-huh.
for example.
And so, not all the airlines have.
Yeah,
Is that true?
unfortunately,
Really?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
strange.
unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, so my friend told me that not every, for example, China's Airlines, I guess. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because, for example, if you're on an American airline, they always have what's called the kosher meal, which is very similar, I assume. It's almost
Yes.
the same, right?
Yes. So the safest one would be vegetarian food.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Even in China's Airlines, they will put something that is, we cannot eat it.
Right. So it's in the way that it's prepared, or there's an ingredient that isn't allowed,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
What about the rest of you? So some special restrictions for your religious beliefs, okay, makes sense as well. Not all, I suppose, not all airlines even have kosher or vegetarian meals. I suppose that's true. I think when I've flown on Ryanair, there wasn't even a meal. There was nothing. If I remember right. And then again, it doesn't cost very much, so you have to decide. What about the rest of you? What factors are important when you're deciding? Is
I think
price
that
the main? Yeah. Go for it, Jose. Oh, say again. It's a little hard to hear you.
The most important, yes. Can I hear me? Yes.
Yes, now it's okay.
The most important factor, I think, could be the price. The second most important factor, for example, could be the reservations system or the comfort or
The booking system, how you book the flight.
yes, the booking system or the safety is
Safety,
one important
yeah.
factor nowadays is the safety.
Exactly. I can tell you one thing that occurs to me if I have to fly from Europe back to the States, where I'm from.
Yes.
Some airlines fly directly across the ocean. I really don't like that because the weather is usually a little bit rough in the middle of the ocean.
Yes. You felt scared, no?
every single time. Every single time. I think I flew one time without having bad weather, and there's nothing below you but the ocean. It takes 8 hours to go over the ocean. But if you go on an airline that maybe costs a little bit more, they really use the radar and they fly around bad weather. So, yeah, maybe that's the reason why I haven't been back in many years, because I just... The last time I flew, the plane went sideways, and everyone else seemed to be okay with it, and I was not. I was not very happy.
So how could you possibly travel from the United Kingdom to the United States without crossing the White
Well, I'm not in
Pacific
the United
Ocean?
Kingdom.
Yeah,
I'm in Portugal, but
yeah. I mean, like if you are
you go
the
over
Americans,
the North Pole basically. You go over the Arctic. It's true.
is it real? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The
Okay.
best flight that I ever had was on Air Iceland from New York to Stockholm, and it
Nice.
basically went over close to the North Pole, landed
Yeah.
in Iceland, and then from Iceland to Stockholm, and it was great. It was smooth. There was no weather problems. Everything was great. No bad weather in the North Pole. Santa
I
Claus was
suppose the airport is full of ice. So,
uh,
no.
when you land in Iceland, yeah, the weather can be a little bit, but it's not like
So how about the land itself? It's slippery.
yeah, that can happen. Yeah. But and it can happen anytime because in July, I think I flew in July and it was snowing when we landed. It was cold. I was wearing a t-shirt and it was like snow and sleet and very cold in the middle of July. So that's
So
the
either
most,
way, it's not safe, right? Either way,
it's not
crossing
what
through, it's not safe. Crossing
it's
through ocean or through with it Iceland. Either way, it's not safe.
It's yeah, basically, yeah. No matter what you do, that's the idea. So, which airline do you think that you would most or least like to fly with? Is there anyone that you would avoid, for example? What about you, Francisco? Is there a particular airline that you would or wouldn't like to use?
Well, in my case, I don't use flying. Usually, I prefer train. In my case, sometimes I have to move to translate to Madrid. The
Right.
capital is about 500 kilometers. And in my case, I have a high velocity train. It's very comfortable, and I prefer to the plane because the plane for me is a little afraid for me. Uh,
How long does it take on the TGV or whatever it
the
is?
TGV is about 1 hour and a half.
1 hour and a half. And how long would it take to fly if you flew it? Same time?
Sorry?
How long would the flight take instead of the
Oh,
train?
I think it's if you count the time where you move to the airport and taxi, I think it's more time than the train because the train arrive in the center of the city, in Madrid,
Right, right, right.
okay, and you don't have problem um, to move from the airport to the center in the city.
Mhm.
Then sometimes I I have to fly, and the most important for me is, as Jose said, is safety for me. It's not the price because uh, I don't fly frequently, and
Right.
price is for me the second or the third factor. It's not the first. For me, it's the quality of the company of the name is important for me that is important company that make me feel safe,
Mhm.
security, and because the flying for me is not uh, very I feel a little nervous because
Mhm.
I get a little afraid. Okay.
As as long as you're not flying from Barcelona to Dusseldorf. No, I'm just
Mhm.
kidding. But those crazy accidents like the ones that have happened recently,
Yes.
they're pretty
Yes.
rare. I mean,
Yeah.
they're almost never. It's as you know, you're so much more likely to have an accident in a car because you've got so many more drivers, so many people, you know, that I understand what you're saying, though. By the way, just a few corrections on English here. You said, look in the chat window, you don't have problems to move. But here you should say you don't have problems moving. You can use not to moving, but moving.
Okay.
And so M is for mistake, and the mistake is problems to move. When you have something like that pattern, it can be followed with the gerund, ing. And it sounds better. In fact, it's not a big mistake, but it's a grammatical error. And the second thing I wanted to say was the W stands for new word. Instead of I want a name that makes me feel confident, I want a brand. You should say the brand is an identity in the market. You can say name, it's okay, but brand is probably, maybe that's a better word for what you're talking about, right? Okay. So we have a certain association with, you know, I said, you know, Ryanair or EasyJet, and we have a different association if it's Air France or British Airways or something like that. Whether it's true or not is one thing, but we have, and that association is related to the brand identity. One last question, group. The word alliance, talking about advantages and disadvantages of alliances. What is an airline alliance? Do you know what that is before we read? What do you think I mean by alliance? Want to make a guess?
For me, the question?
For anyone, all of you.
Group of companies.
That do,
yeah.
That do what?
Airplane companies, group of airplane companies to serve the customer, their customers better.
Right. What did they do?
To form an, how you say, to share their resources, like.
Okay. So an alliance is sharing resources. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one good part, one good definition.
I
sharing
think that the flight company sings a deal to work together.
Making a deal to work together.
Yes.
Excellent. I agree. And let's put that in the chat window for you to think about and tell me, what resources do you think they're sharing? Or what way do you think they're working together? I think you got the exact idea. That's exactly right.
Traveling route.
Okay. Sharing routes. Yeah, flight routes, maybe?
Flight route. Yeah, flight route.
Absolutely. Now, what might be the advantage, do you think, of two airlines sharing the same flight route?
Reducing tax prices or whatever, something like that. I mean, like maybe the American airlines have to pay much more to land into one of the European country.
Okay.
So it will be better if you make an alliance to make a friend with European
pronunciation.
Airplane companies.
Alliance.
Alliance. Yeah.
That's it. So maybe sharing of the tax burden. Why not? It makes sense.
Yeah.
That could reduce, if you reduce the tax, then you're ultimately reducing possibly the ticket price, because they're going to pass on some of that to the consumer. Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
it would be logical.
Maybe you could serve the consumers in your clients better if you're always providing a service, whether or not it's your airline. Like we've got flights 3 times a day, right?
Yeah.
But if you take that time, it's going to be another airline. But at least you can book the ticket through us, and we share customers. It's another idea. Okay, let's find out exactly what they're doing. Okay, let's everyone take a
Okay.
paragraph. These are really short. Yeah, it's about 2 pages, but they're really short paragraphs. All right, Mr. Jolt, why don't you start us off? Maybe take it up to somewhere around 10, 11.
Oh, sorry.
So why don't you be our first reader
Okay.
up to about line 11?
Okay, great.
Okay?
Yeah. So, airline alliances. I've just come back to Prague from Mexico, and although I booked my ticket through Czech Airlines, I never stepped onto the Czech Airlines plane. I flew KLM to Amsterdam, Delta Airlines to the States, Aeromexico to Mexico City, and the same on the way back. I was traveling on the SkyTeam Alliance, who were proud to tell me that they were voted the best airline alliance 2007 in a survey for the Business Traveler magazine. In the survey, subscribers to the magazine were asked which companies have made their business travels more enjoyable, and the SkyTeam came top due to its reliability, high-quality service, and extensive network.
Okay,
My
stop
journey-
there for just a second. Stop there. Just one word about pronunciation. Look in the chat window. Say that word for me one more time, please.
Alliances.
Okay, much better. So the stress alliances is on the second syllable, and it ends, of course, with an S sound. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, very good. Because you were saying alliances at one point. I think that's what I heard you say. Okay, and those are the IPA symbols. You can see the IPA transcription.
Okay.
So, I had a question for you. What was it? Wait a second. I had a question for you. Oh, what was it? I lost my question. I can't even remember what I was going to ask. Yeah, okay, sorry. Jolt, what was unusual about the flight and why? That's what I was going to ask you. So, it gets to the heart of what an alliance is. What was unusual about this person's trip overall, and why do you think it was unusual? Slightly unusual.
Just a sec. Yeah, that he booked his ticket through Czech Airlines,
Right?
and he never traveled with a Czech Airlines plane.
Yeah, that's odd, don't you think?
Yeah, it's yeah.
A little bit strange. Okay, and so that's an example of one of these alliances that we're talking about. I mentioned before that perhaps sharing customers could be one of the resources that they share. Look at the chat window and notice how we pronounce that word in English. Say that word again for me, Jolt,
Czech,
with a k at the end.
Czech,
Check.
Czech.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly like waiter, I want the check. Exactly the same as the other Czech word.
Oh, that's interesting. We say it Czech, but okay, Czech. Okay.
In English, we say everything wrong. All right. Mr. Jose, why don't you pick it up from there? We're around line 17, okay, up until around 29, I think. Starting with my journey around 17.
I have to read. I have to begin to read in the 11th line, no? The business.
Well, he went forward a little bit. So actually, start on line 17, my journey,
17.
and
17,
take.
yes. My journey back from Mexico made me wonder what the purpose of this alliance is.
Alliances.
This alliance is.
Wait, one more time. Alliances is.
Alliances is.
Good.
Alliances is. Since 1987, 3 multi-airline alliances have.
Try again.
Alliances. Multi-airline alliances.
Good.
Have developed the smallest alliances in terms.
Alliances. Come on, Jose.
The-
You just remember it's I like lion. Alliances like a lion.
Lion, okay. The smallest alliances in
Good.
terms of number of airlines is one board with 11 airlines. These alliances links national giants American Airlines, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, and Qantas. Next with 13 airlines. In SkyTeam, which lines Delta, which Air France, KLM, Korean Air, and Aeromexico, amongst others.
Okay.
Finally, yes.
Oh, sorry. Let's.
Yeah.
We can stop there. Okay, so just be
Stop
careful.
there.
Just be careful for a second here. Just be careful because alliances is the
Alliance.
plural, right?
Okay. Y the singular is alliance.
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 That's it. That's it.
Without S. Okay.
Without the extra syllable. Right. Okay. So far, so good. Mr. Francisco, could you pick it up on finally, which is like line 28, the end of line 28.
Okay, if the in the line can find
28.
Okay, finally with 23rd Airlines.
23 airlines.
23 airlines. There is Star Alliance, which includes United Airlines, Lufthansa, ANA of
Good.
Japan,
Good.
and Air New Zealand. All of them claim that the alliance provides travelers with better service, including more staff, greater reward, easier check in, and smoother transfers.
Be careful with that one. Easier check-ins.
Easier checking. Oh yes, it's the even in the
Exactly.
yes, sorry. And smoother transfers. All of the alliances allow the business traveler to move through the world more easily and more efficiently, says Nathan Harry, an airline industry writer. Thanks to Beta.
We'll stop there for a second. Just look at the chat window, Francisco, and I want you to say that word. Oh, I made a little mistake. Wait, let me redo this. Say this one more time.
Mhm.
Last one I wrote in the chat window.
In the chat window.
In the Verbling chat window. Yeah. Do you see it?
Yes, rewards.
Exactly. Look at the IPA symbols, and you'll notice there's a Z. So say it one more time.
Rewards.
Z.
Rewards. Oh, it's difficult for me. The B sound. The B sound.
Exactly. Listen to me. Listen to
Yeah.
me. Rewards.
Oof. Rewards.
That's it.
Rewards.
You have to vibrate a little bit more, but you got it. Rewards.
Rewards.
That's it.
Okay.
Practice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Little difficult.
Okay, and just to finish the sentence from before, as you left off, Nathan Harvey, an airline industry writer, says, thanks to better connections and shared services, the airlines are able to offer more departure times and cheaper fares. So we're on to you, Mr. Artemis, in line 43.
Critics of the alliance system claim that the alliances.
43.
I'm sorry, yeah, sorry.
But the traveler.
But the traveler is not the only one to benefit. The alliances are also beneficial for the airline companies. They can reduce costs by sharing operational costs, staff, sales offices, and maintenance facilities. However, the real driving force behind the alliances is that they are seen as a way for the American companies to overcome protectionist rules in other countries, especially Europe. For example, US Airlines argued that European carriers had an advantage over US airlines. This was because the Europe Airlines could fly passengers from the States into Europe and then fly them on their destination within Europe, whereas US firms were not allowed to fly between two European countries.
Last sentence?
This meant they were having to hand their customers over to their European competitors.
Okay, very good. So this paragraph is pretty much what you said in the beginning, Artemis. It's pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to take a look at one word. I'm going to put it in the chat window for you. Give me just a second. Give me just a second to copy and paste this. There's got to be a faster way to do this. Read this word again for me in the chat window and notice the IPA symbols.
Competitor?
Yeah. Competitor.
Competitor.
Yeah, that's it. So if it's plural, it's competitors.
How did I say it before?
Not like that. In some other way. I don't remember.
Yeah, competitor.
Yeah. So in American English, the T is a D, like dog. Competitor.
Competitor.
That's it. That's it. So if you try to enunciate the T's, it could slow you down. So we just soften them and make them sound like a D. Or we just take them out.
So is it common, if we found T in the middle of a word, so we pronounce it as D?
Not common. It is
Not
all the time. Always.
all the time. Okay.
Always. Always.
So apart from T in the front of the words, we pronounce it as D, right?
That's right.
Okay.
There's one exception.
Competitor.
There's one exception.
What?
I used to live on a little island. The island was called Manhattan. But Manhattan had so many T's that we just didn't say them. We said Manhattan. Manhattan.
Yeah, Manhattan.
So, exactly. So if you're from New York, you tend to say Manhattan. Because it's a lot easier than saying Manhattan. So we say Manhattan. So there's a few exceptions, but basically 99.9% of the time, T's or D's, unless they begin a word.
Yeah. I see.
There you go. We're back to Mr. Jolt for line 64.
64.
Critics of?
Okay. Critics of the alliance system claim that the alliances are not as beneficial to the customer as it is claimed. When two competing airlines are in the same alliance, they share the routes, meaning a reduction in services and numbers of seats available, and thus an increase in prices. Williams, Govana, Bergson works for a passenger-focused group. Also, despite over 40 airlines belonging to alliances, much of the world is not covered. In fact, outside North America, Europe, and Southeast Asia, coverage is very limited. Bergson continues. This is something the alliances seem to be aware of with the Chinese, Brazilian, and African airlines
No,
due
no.
to in the near future.
Right. And Jose, why don't you finish it up? Was there a question? I heard someone. Was there a question?
I don't have any question.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jolt, one thing. Look at the last word I wrote in the chat window and say it for me one more time. Notice the IPA symbol.
Share,
That was better, yeah. Share.
share.
Right, right. The IPA symbol that I wrote is actually for the British pronunciation because there's no R. So I should actually write it like this. Like that would be the American. Share. Share.
Share.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Jose, can you finish it up for us?
Yes, the airline alliances are also alliances.
Come on. Think lion. Lion. Roar. Lion.
Alliances.
Alliances. Good.
Alliances. The airline alliances. 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 Alliances.
Thank you.
Alliances.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jose.
The airline alliances are also facing other threats. Low-cost airlines prefer to go in for head-to-head competition rather than forming alliances, while the Open Skies deal between the USA and Europe may reduce the need for such cooperation. But for the foreseeable future, the alliances look like they are here to stay because, as David Grossman wrote in USA Today, it's far less expensive to sell tickets on someone else's airplane than to operate your own.
All right. So that is our article. And I have some questions for you to get you thinking. And then I want you, what I want you to do then is to start to think of advantages and disadvantages and compare them. Okay, but before we go on to the advantages and disadvantages, what I'd like you to do is tell me, what was the question there? Sorry?
How to pronounce ally or allies as
Ally.
U.S. Army
Ally.
ally.
Ally. With the stress on the first syllable.
Ally.
Yeah. Like this.
Ally. Alliances. Ally. Oh yeah.
So different words, not different words, the same word in a different part of speech will have a different stress. So we say, for example, to record is a verb, but record is a noun. So depending on the part of speech, whether it's a noun, verb, adjective, adverb, that will also change where we put the stress. So alliances is a noun, but a person is an ally. Not an ally, but an ally.
Ally.
And the plural is allies.
Ally. Yeah.
In World War II, you had the Allied powers. The Allied powers. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. These were some questions I was asking you earlier. By the way, do you remember the number of alliances mentioned in the text? Do you remember how many there were?
3.
I think you're right. There were 3. I don't remember which ones they were. I know there was the One World. I don't remember the others. Do you remember the others?
Star
Alliances.
Alliances.
Star Alliance, yeah.
Sky Team and
Sky Team. Yeah, okay, that's
I
it.
forget the first one.
The first one was One World, I think.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it was One
one
World.
world.
Okay, Star Alliance is interesting because that's the one that I have to fly on here in Portugal. It's Star Alliance. Because the Portuguese airline goes to the States, but then it's picked up by an American airline. So I actually knew that one. Star Alliance. When did alliances first begin? See if any of you remember from the text. When did they first begin?
Something 7. 97.
97, I think you got it. I think that was it.
Ah.
I'll tell you in just a second. But I think you're right. I can't tell you because I'm opening something on my computer and it's freezing my computer. But when it stops freezing my computer, I will tell you. But that's what I remember too, 97.
Yes, something 7.
The number of airlines in the largest alliance. I remember this one.
Ah, yes, because you use the star alliances.
Mm-hmm. Was it Star? Was that the? I don't remember which was the biggest, but I remember the number.
The last one. More than 20,
More than 20.
but I'm not sure.
I'll tell you in a second. My computer is frozen. Hold on. I'm getting there. It'll take a second. Okay, and the very last one. By the way, Jose and Joe, don't you remember any of the details? Come on. Look at number 4. The number of airlines in the smallest alliance. Do you remember? Anyone?
I can't remember any voice, but it's 11. I just checked.
I remember the number 11. I think you're right. All right, give me just a second here, because I finally got my computer to work, and I'll go over the answers all in one go here. Give me a second here. Okay. There. I actually have the answers on the last page, but they're not labeled that well. So the answer was, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah. So, Jolt, you're absolutely right. Yes, it was 11 for the number of airlines in the smallest, 23 in the largest. The year it started was 1997, and the number of alliances total was 3. That's right. All right. Now, let's focus on our main goal here, which is expressing our opinions. You need to be able to compare and contrast
Advantages y desadvantages.
advantages and
And
disadvantages.
disadvantages
That's right.
of Ireland alliance.
Now, what I want the 3 of you to do now, we lost someone, so we've got just us 4 here. I'd like you to think of 1 or 2 advantages and 1 or 2 disadvantages of having an alliance. Think about it from the airline's point of view, and also from your point of view as a consumer. And I want you to focus on some contrast words, and some of these contrast words have come up in the last week in the business class, if you were there. So we have on the one hand, but on the other. And that's the easiest one that you all know. Another one that came up was, whereas with X, you could A, B, C, D, but with Y, it's etc. So we have on the one hand, whereas. Are there any other contrast words that you might use comparing advantages and disadvantages? Anything else come to mind? If not, don't worry, I'll help you out when it comes time to compare our lists. Okay, so take a minute, see if you can come up with maybe 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages, and tell me when you're ready, and we'll compare. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I'm not ready yet. Hold on a second. I'm trying desperately to open things that I want to share with you, and I'm having trouble. Well, maybe this is it. Okay, I'll try to open that in the background. Okay. So, let's start with you, Mr. Jolt. What for you might be an advantage of an alliance? What's one of your advantages?
Just a sec. So, on one hand, alliances can have cheaper fares. You can buy cheaper tickets, but on the other hand, it an alliance can lead to reduction of services or reduction of available seats.
Excellent. Reduction of services or seats, you said?
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. On the one hand, cheaper fares, but on the other hand, a reduction of services or seats. Now, why do you think there would be less services or seats? What's going on there? Just so we're clear. What's happening that's taking away the seats?
Because when two airlines in an alliance and they share the routes, then so I guess it's because you can go with only one plane instead of two different planes, so there will be less seats in that route or on that destination where you are going to.
Yeah, less seats available. Less seats available, like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to comment on yours by adding an advantage and disadvantage of my own. Well, whereas there used to be, I'm using our second contrast connector, whereas there used to be more seats available before alliances, now, I should say, I'm not using but, I'm changing but to now. Whereas there used to be less seats available, now there's much greater efficiency because we're filling the planes, therefore we're spending less fuel, therefore we have a better environmental impact, less planes flying in the air, and as a result, maybe that actually helps with safety. We've got less planes flying in the air, we've got more flights for each airline, more people are working at the airline, less overall flights, more bodies and seats. It seems like it's ultimately a win-win. Just an idea. I could be wrong. I don't know. Just an idea that you made me think of. Artemis, what about you? Can you give us an advantage and disadvantage? What do you think?
So in one way, we will benefit from the reduced costs. However, if there are two or more airplanes that are competing each other, the cost would increase. That reason that makes me confused. Like, somehow we will benefit from the reduced cost, and the other way the cost itself will increase because of the alliances. So I assume that because they are competing each other in the same alliances, they want to no longer share their resources each other.
Hmm?
Am I right here?
In my opinion, I can give you my opinion.
Yeah.
By the way, just a quick note about English. There was a little mistake there. I think you said competing to each other, but it's got to be
With
competing
each
with each other, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I'm not
what,
aware that I used that word.
now you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what do you think, class? What do you think? Are the prices likely to decrease or increase? Are the ticket prices, the word that you used, Jolt, was fares. Are the fares likely to increase or decrease with the alliances? Let's get an opinion from the group. Any ideas?
I think that with the alliances, the prices will grow up.
By grow up, do you mean
Yes,
will rise?
will rise. Yes,
Grow up is what a child does. So you can't say grow up here, but you can say will rise or will grow.
grow, rise. Okay.
Yeah. So we have grow up is a mistake, but you can say just grow without the up. You can say will rise. Well, I don't know. You would think logically that the fares would actually decrease. You would think so. Because
Yeah.
oh no, actually wait, hang on a second. Maybe Artemis, what you're saying is the more
In the passage, some reason makes the cost increase. Right.
the more competition, the more the fares should decrease, because each airline is trying to get more passengers. And so I said it backwards earlier. So if there's an alliance, they could do what we call fixing the prices. Fix the price. Which, by the way, is actually illegal. You're not allowed to fix prices in a market, although it's hard to stop it.
Fix the match.
Exactly. Like
Excellent.
exactly.
Matching fixing.
You're gonna go down in the fifth. Exactly. So that would be an area of business research that you should do, Artemis. Find out what's happening.
I'm not that.
Reasonable? Got to do some research and get back to it.
That is out of my line of work. The business thing is out of my line of work.
What is your line of work? I forgot. You told me, but
Algorithm.
I don't remember.
You remember?
Oh, algorithms, right? Yeah.
You promised me to to compare our algorithms.
Next class.
And
I'll do it next class.
I'm looking forward to it.
Tomorrow. Okay, very good. So, basically, we've got a few good contrast connectors. Now, by the way, I corrected you also, Artemis. Not corrected you. I gave you a suggestion. You said in one way, then you said however. But if you say in one way, then you should say in another way. They go together like a pair. So we've got on the one hand, but on the other hand. Just to summarize, and I put those in the chat window. On the one hand, but on the other hand, we have whereas, then, now, or but. Maybe but is a little weird with whereas. I think my version was whereas before the prices were X. Now they're Y. And finally, down there we had in one way, but in another way. In one way it's good, but in another way it's bad, or not so good. Okay, we're going to have to stop here, but listen, try. If you go to slide 7, you have a whole list of collocations. And what you could do is try to match up the word patterns, collocations, match them up. You can check your answers on slide 8 to see if you're right. Try to do this from memory. And you can also further take your disadvantages, write them as a little text. Perhaps you're doing a business analysis, and if you want me to correct it, send it to me through the message window, and I'll correct it and send it back. All right. So you have a chance for some further work.
Thank
All
you.
right. I hope it was interesting, and now you know more about alliances, and you know more about how to compare and contrast advantages and disadvantages. Are we cool?
Cool.
Cool. Tomorrow, algorithms with Artemis. Okay?
Okay. Bye.
That's it for now. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.